Let's give that a shot. Still saying we're offline. Oh, there we are. Thank you. Backup servers worked. We are up. And we're live, and I'm going to pop out the chat. I'm just going to put up the chat on... there we go. Put up the chat on my iPad. There we go, so I can keep an eye on it. There we go. Haha, thank you. That's all it was so many people broadcasting No Man's Sky today that the YouTube just wouldn't let me in. It said, oh, hey, you're not broadcasting No Man's Sky, go away. And Oracle would be helping me today, but guess what she's doing? She's off-world right now, mining something on No Man's Sky, so I'm all alone today. That's okay. Great, I can get rid of this screen now, and I'm going to put this, fix it so I can put some pictures up in the corner, because it's going to show you what we're doing today. And I'm going to make it so I can switch to the Halo 3 at any time. Configure video. There's that. So that's over here. Let me just try it out, make sure it works. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I can switch over anytime I want, which is nice. And let me just get my picture switcher back up and live there. Let me just make sure I can change my picture-in-picture. Uh-oh. That broke for some reason. Let's try that again. Properties, browse. That's weird. Let me just delete that. And I'll put up a new one. Maybe that's all it is. I'll just put up a new one. Bear with me. Image. Let's just call it image. Let's browse. And the pictures are all closed. This is weird. I just installed a new version of OBS, and it's just things I could do yesterday are not happening today. Okay, there, I'm getting picture-in-picture, but when I bring up the menu to change pictures, see? There's picture 2. Nothing happened. You know what? Let's do it without pictures. I'll just switch back and forth between the two. Anyhow, I know I haven't broadcast or streamed this build in a while, and not since Thursday or Friday, I think. And there's a reason for that. It's not that I've been lazy. It's that I've been very busy working on this map. I put about, I guess about 18 to 20 hours worth of work into this map, but I haven't built anything yet. And I don't think you really wanted to sit through 20 hours of me doing this. I don't know if you can see the changes. Here, let me make it a little more obvious. What I did is I went around the Halo 3 map, and I measured everything. And what I did is put reference posts to where they are. These are all cataloged. They're all numbered and cataloged. And if you saw that picture-in-picture here, let me just try one more time. Let me put this image in. Sure, that one works. That is a heat map that I got from Bungie.net, and I blew it up on a piece of paper, and I went through and I marked and numbered each quadrant. Okay, like each quarter, this is a measurement quadrant on here. Just show you what I mean by that very quickly. This is my measuring stick, and that's the front lawn of the right side base. So on the picture, that's this. I don't know if my mouse is showing up in here. I think it is. That's the upper left-hand portion of that picture. So I just put numbers down on it and measured each one. I measured the XY coordinate and the base. And what that means is that where this stick is, this measuring post here, that the bottom of it is where it intersects the ground. Okay, so when I put my terrain down, it has to match up with the bottom of each one of these. So the yellow ones indicate terrain, and the red ones indicate rocks, and that's what we're doing today. We're placing rocks. And the reason for that is it's going to be a fairly short broadcast, maybe only like 2 hours, maybe less, just to show you how we did this. And there are rocks here, and as I said, I wish my picture-in-picture doesn't seem to be working here. Let me just try it a different way, because it really makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense if I can show you what I'm doing as I'm doing it, because I need to see it as well for my references. So I'll have it up on my screen, but I want you to be able to see it as well. So let me just open these. Okay, and I will try to, let me try this. I'm going to just try putting a window in OBS. Let's try window capture. And let's pick. No, you see, even that just blanks. I don't know what's up with OBS. It's just not working. Oh, that's not what I'm after. It's just not doing what I'm expecting it to do, and this worked just fine before the update. Like I was setting the stream up this morning, and everything was working fine. Then OBS said, "Hey, we have an update," and I said, "Sure, update it." And now putting the pictures in is broken. And what did I just do? I just got rid of my Elgato. So let me do it this way. Nope. There we go. Yeah, you see, this is the exact same one I used the other day. Okay, so it's not working. Anyhow, I'll just switch over to show you what I'm doing. What was I saying? Right. What have I done since the last show, just so that you aren't missing anything? Okay, that's what I did. I already explained that. I measured where all the rocks go. The way I measured the rocks are I measured the leading edge of the rock, the trailing edge of the rock, like the most extreme point this way, the most extreme point that way, where the middle of the rock intersects with the ground, and where the right side of the rock intersects with the ground, and the top. I didn't do that with the ice stacks here, but when I realized after I should have. But I also measured, this is the peak of the rock, the absolute highest point of the rock matches up with that. So you see each one of these has 5 places. So we can place a giant rock in this place, sticking through the bottom, as long as it more or less intersects with where the ground is going to be. So that's how I measured the rocks. And as I say, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you count the pillar, and there's 2 on this side, and we're going to be using the alpine, not the non-snowy rocks on this side of the map, and we're going to use the snowy rocks on that side of the map. Help differentiate them. Plus in the game they're kind of like that as well. Or I should say in Halo 3 they're kind of like that as well. So some other small changes I made. This structure here you can ignore. What this is I figured out how many pieces of invisible barriers it's going to take for 100% player containment, because there could be flying vehicles in this map, and I wanted to set an absolute ceiling of around the same height as these go here. This was here the other day, but I've measured them. These are accurately placed now. I keep interrupting myself. I should stop doing that. Let me go back to this part here. Okay, so this is my player containment. I measured exactly what pieces of 128 by 2 invisible barriers I'm going to use for 100% player containment for each side of the map, and this represents how many pieces. The idea is that I'm going to be placing that last to make it easier to forage around the map. So all this is doing is it's reserving the number of pieces I need so that I don't run over my object count limit, forgetting about player containment. So that's all this is doing, is it's reserving my pieces that I need. So I'll delete this and then put my player containment. And that's just reminding me of this big structure like this. It's just to remind me, hey, you got to do player containment. So that's what this represents. The other thing I did was I properly measured this, because it's one of the key features of the map. And as I was placing rocks and trees and that, you need a visual reference. So I very accurately measured this. This isn't the final piece of what I'm going to be using, and obviously not the final color. Oh, hey, you never know. But it's more for a visual reference, so they're very accurately placed. And see the same thing. I put the measuring stick on this one, and above the keyhole doors, I measured that, and then very accurately lined them up and nicely, and it turned out to be exactly 1 degree angle. So that was very nice of them to make it really simple for me. The other thing, I got thinking in the middle of the night about budget and things I have to make, and the one thing that's concerning me here, I'm going to switch views for this, because this is about Halo 3. Switch over to Halo 3, and let me put my controller down and grab my wonky Halo 3 controller. One thing that was really concerning me was these man cannons, and I was going to build them kind of like I did on the Griffball court, and then I started counting pieces, and each one of them was like 30 pieces, and there's 4 on each side. So that's 8 times 30. That's a lot of pieces. That's a quarter of my terrain budget would be spent on those. So I'm going to have to be really simplifying these and how they look and what pieces. But what I'm going to try to do is use the fewest amount of pieces to have them look the best. So if I can get away with 5 pieces and have it look terrific, that'd be great. Fewer would be better, because there are actually the actual teleporters themselves. And here, let me switch monitors so I can show you in player mode. Each one of these actually works. Okay, I don't know if you know that, but each one of these man cannons work. Now, they work in a limited fashion. They don't work 100% like the big ones. Well, maybe they do. See? Look at that. Each one of them is actually a man cannon. And I'm going to put it in so that each one is a man cannon. And if later on it's impossible to do, or I run out of budget, and I absolutely have to scrape my budget down to get the things to bring down my piece count, what I might end up doing is make it so that these other ones, that only the bottom one or only the top one have a man cannon. But I'm going to design the map with these all functioning and see how it goes from there, because I figured out some other ways to reduce my piece count with some other little tricks I found. I'll get into those tomorrow or the next day. But I'm going to try to recreate them as best I can with as few pieces I can. So let me show you what I've come up with. Not for the frame, but the actual teleporters themselves. And I'll show you one thing I came up with. Let me switch back over. I wish it was easier. I wish I had like a foot pedal to switch. Because all these button clicks are driving me batty here. Actually, if I had 2 capture cards, that would be really sweet. But right now, I just have to use the same one and switch sources. Okay, switching back. This is what I've come up with for now. This can change at any time, but I was just playing around with this late at night when I couldn't do a show because everyone was sleeping. So I came up with these man cannons, and this is the central area. And I did end up measuring these platforms, as I said, because once we build the rocks on the outside, I'm going to need to make sure that visually they look right on the inside. So if you put a giant rock or snow, big chunk of snow out here, you don't want it impeding the this area here. So this area had to be completely built before I could do terrain. Anyhow, this is what I've come up with for the teleporter. I used this piece here, which is a breakout piece, which I wouldn't have found if I hadn't actually gone through the breakout list. And I found this brilliant breakout piece that has this very unique shape. I don't like the fact that it has the grid on it, but that's okay. You can't see that in game. It has a nice look to it. It has the weird like brickwork pattern on it that moves when you move, which you can't really see as well. But anyhow, that's the piece I ended up using for the main part of the teleporter. Then I used the combination of 4 FX. Okay, I'm gonna have to ungroup them. So let me just ungroup this one so I can see the effects. I used the Forerunner hologram. Okay, and I used the Forerunner spiral and another Forerunner spiral. Turned it 180 degrees and stuck with magnets nose to nose. And what that does is, instead of a circle, you've got 2 circles turning in opposite directions that give it a really cool kind of vortex look. But it's not a spinning vortex. It's you know what I mean? It has more depth to it because there's spinning in opposite direction. And also I put this, the very base one is a, oh, you can't see it because it's embedded, but there's an energy stream that's a Covenant thing. So I've got 3 Forerunner things and a Covenant thing all together. And what I did alternately on this one is I used the sign, the cross sign. So it looks kind of like the pattern of the one in Halo 3, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet. I'm kind of leaning towards the Forerunner one, because that looks too much like a human sign rather than a something Forerunnery. So I'm probably going to go with the other one. And as you can see, I've already set them, so they kind of look like a proper teleporter. Now on the Halo 3, they're set a little bit lower than this, but it didn't look right when it's lowered. I wanted to be able to actually see the piece, and because the Halo 3 man cannons are about 10 feet wide, you can step anywhere in them. Like, you can step off the map right here and you'll get flying through the teleporter. Where here it doesn't. You have to be a little more focused. So I wanted to give a little bit more of a representation of where the man cannon is to the player. Okay, so you can do it from here. See, not even from here. So you have to be like right on it. So unfortunately, the man cannons, I don't want to have to use 3 man cannons on each one. So that's why I made it a bit higher. So that's what I'm going to go with for the man cannon. For the outside ones, all I'm going to have is the... I'm not going to have the swirly thing because you can't really see that from a distance. But you can see the Forerunner piece and that other piece. So now, each one of the teleporters, or keep calling them teleporters, each one of the man cannons, it's going to be the Covenant energy... plasma. I don't know if you can see that on camera very well. Oh, sure, you can see it fine. The Covenant energy, the Forerunner hologram, and the breakout thing, and the actual gravity lift itself. So each one of them is down to 4 pieces, and I think that's probably the absolute lowest I can go, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 26 of them I have to make. And 4 pieces, what's that? That's 104 pieces off my budget just for man cannons. Actually, no, it's going to be 1, 2. It's going to be less because they don't actually. Some of them don't actually need the gravity lift piece, the invisible gravity lift piece. So it'll be more or less depending on how I want it to look. So that really cuts down on the number of pieces I'm going to use, and it still looks okay. It's not exact, but I never expected this to be an exact replica. I think I've explained that in every one of the episodes I've done so far. So that's what I've been up to. I don't really think I placed anything else. I showed you that I placed one of every. That's just a visual representation for the outside wall. That's not even. I just realized now that's not even where it's going to be. That's where it's going to be, right there, because I know that that's a measurement of where the wall meets the path. And I placed one of every piece so that I can go shopping rather than having to scroll through menus all the time. I can do it visually now. Let me just see here in the chat. Right, flying vehicles and upside down gravity volumes. That's a good point because I hadn't actually tried them yet. My only concern now, if I have enough budget, I'll use them as well. My only concern is I also want to keep players out, and I know that gravity volumes do not affect players if their feet are on the ground. So what that means is that if there's a player up on these rocks and the gravity volume is keeping them from flying over it, they can jump out and walk over the rocks and out of the map. Now, the reason I want to use physical volumes is because if I have to use the old way, because safe volumes are still broken, and they are, if I have to use safe volumes, kill volumes, it's going to take maybe 30 of them to properly contain this map. And I don't want to do that. It's just, if I would hate to do that, and then the next week they. Oh, I don't believe it.
What'd you do?
I when I set my Xbox controller down, I moved my mixer. Oh, so embarrassing. I don't know where I'd left off. Anyhow, I'll just, you know what? I will just overdub everything in the video. But I put down my Xbox controller and it pushed my mixer back, and the on-off button hit my microphone stand and shut my mixer off. Sorry about that. I wish I had read that chat. How long was my voice out? Because I explained a lot of things there, probably unnecessarily. So maybe I just relieved you some tedious boredom. And my video preview is about a minute behind too, maybe more. Oh, that's the problem. That's the problem. I'm on a backup server, so my the video that I'm seeing in my preview, the video that you're watching right now, is about 5 minutes behind, maybe even 10 minutes behind where I am. So expect a lot of. Oh, we okay. You didn't mix that much. Okay, that's good. You just mixed me talking about the rocks, so that's good. Um, Yeah, that's weird because my chat is very recent, but the actual image that's on the screen is way out of whack. So you know what? I'm just gonna hit pause because it's distracting. It's so far behind. Let me switch back over to Halo 5. Just want to verify that it switches before I go changing. Yes. Let me move it. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Now I'm gonna switch my screen over so I can see what I'm doing in Halo 3. And let's go play some rocks. Okay, sorry about that mix-up. I'm gonna put a cover over top of the power switch for my mixer because it does not seem to take much to shut it off, and it's in a really bad place because it's right up against my mic stand. Okay, this is rock number 1. So we just have to find something that generally fits in that, and is kind of pointy on top. Kind of. So let's start with the pointiest of rocks that we have. Let's see. These ones are really flat, so I can't use those. And I'm not sure how these size relate, so you know what? I'll just grab one and move it over. If it's too small, I'll come over and grab another one. Oh yeah, way too small. Way too small. So we need something bigger. And as a something with an edge to it, or something that's a bit pointy. Let's try that one. No, even that one's too small. It's not very interesting looking and nowhere near like the original one. I don't want to use this one. Well, maybe I will. Let's try it. Because this is the one that all the smokestacks are made out of. And I don't want to get too repetitious with my rocks. But you know what? Let's try it on its side. Which is the sharpest edge? I'd say that one. No, let me try it again. Try this one. There we go. That's kind of the look we're after. Except it's facing the wrong way. And let's see if it fits in our space. See if I line the top up. Now let's do this. Yeah, you see nowhere near because it's supposed to come down to this place, this spot here, that spot there. So definitely too small. Let's move on to this massive sucker here. And if these don't work, I'm gonna pull out the big guns. Okay, and you also notice I've changed, I haven't done this yet, but or showed you this yet, but I've changed my rotation in my tool settings. I changed my rotation to camera because when you're hand placing things, you want to have the the pivot point where you're looking, and then that way you get a little bit more a visual representation of where things are supposed to be. And you can just line you want to turn it this way, you line your camera up with that way, and then you turn it, and then you can turn it that way. You see what I mean? Like it's a little bit better as far as placing things by hand. So let's see how this one fits. The width is good, the length is good, the height is good. It's just too fat on top, because if you saw went back to the picture, the rock is actually, it's like a knife blade on top almost, rather than a big structure like this. Now, one advantage of this is people will be able to clamber up on top of this, and which you could. Hold on, just got a text. Just leave that handy. Okay. Forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Yeah, this rock fits perfectly. But players can clamber on it, which is okay, because I'm just going to run into Halo 3 to see how easy it was to jump on the original. And yes, you could just walk right on top of it. So I don't care that it's a little bit fatter on top. If I can find a thinner one, I will, but let's just do that. Okay, yeah, the same text. I have the same text tone as -0. I know a lot of streams from Halo players I listen and their text goes off and it's exactly the same thing. It is. I think it's one of the best ones, because the better sounding text notifications are ones that are a how do you put it? They're a multi-tonal, like they go from a low tone to a high tone to a low tone. Just that the sound will carry from one room to the other better if it's more than a single tone, and that's really why I like it. I just thought of something. What if we tilted this rock over? Now you got to remember that most of this rock is going to be underground anyway, so I can turn it so that it's on an angle. No, I can't, because that completely buries this this one here. So let me just reset it, put it back. This is my first candidate. I'm not stuck with this yet. It's perfect in size, but it's going to take a little bit of tweaking to get it to look right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go leave that in place, and I'm going to look for an alternative. One of the alternative are these stacks, but I really don't like the looks of these, and I think if I am going to use them, I'm going to use one, and that's it, because this piece is so recognizable that if you use two, it becomes very obvious that you're using two. But maybe, and I might be using one upside down and one upside right, but I wouldn't use any more than that. Let's go looking here, because there are some very interesting rocks that are extremely big, but have some really nice features, like that one there. Let's try that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select it here, but I'm not going to duplicate it until I get to where I'm going. And what I'll do is I will go under the map, down here, and then duplicate it. And look, it's right near where I need it. If I duplicated it over there, it would have taken a minute to fly it back over here. So this is a huge piece, but it's kind of got the rock shape I want, and it looks like it's too big anyhow. But you get the point, is that with these giant pieces, you can use just a small piece of them, like that. Oh, if these rocks were closer, I could have gotten away with using this piece as two rocks, but yeah, in this case, it's not exactly the shape I was looking for, but let's go back over here and see if we can find another one. There's this one. So I'll try that one. That one's too wide, I know that. That's the one I just grabbed, isn't it? No, that's the one I just grabbed. So there could be a side to one of these that might work. Like that one there. So let's try that one first. Go over here and reproduce it. Out of bounds. Let me get back in here. There, and I think you'll see what I mean. I'm just going to take this one and just lift it straight up. Oh, yeah, lift it straight up. I should have used the world rather than object. And let me try this one in its place. And let's see if this better suits. Not too narrow, that's all. Not a big deal, it's just, oh wait. Oh, maybe not. And I'm going to turn it around so the featured side is into the map. Maybe not. Yeah, I think I just didn't need to turn it around. Alright, set the height first. Leading edge and trailing edge are close. This edge isn't, so let me tilt it. Ah, there's what we need to do. We just need to bring this out. Now, the inner edge, this is just a path here. So I don't care that it doesn't reach this piece because this is the outside wall is this line here. You see where this measuring stick that's on an angle? I turn it on an angle to represent the intersection between the ground and the wall is the corner at the base of those. So this is just a sneaky path on the outside. So I don't care if the path is a little bit wider here. That makes no difference whatsoever. But I want this rock to look right from out here. And it kind of does, but it's messing up with my transition point right here. And I'll explain that later. But this T-shape marker, this is a transition. That's a part where two paths split. One goes up, one goes down, and the actual that spot there is the transition between the two. So that is important because that means that's where the lower path and the upper path split. So I have to make sure that I don't interfere with that so I can set my pieces for that later. So what happened to my other one there? So maybe this piece doesn't fit after all, but I'm going to hold it just like I did the other. I'm going to reserve it because I think it's the best one I've got so far. That's the second best one over there. But I think if I just push it back a little bit. The height's right. The outer edge is right. You know what? It can come out even more. Because this is the lower path, the lower vehicle path to the base. There's a outer path, an inner path, a path by the man cannons, and this marks the inside path that's in between the man cannon and the wall. So this will work because this is a vehicle path right here. It's got a nice look to it, nice, sheer, shiny. It's going to be bright and white. So I think that looks good. I think that could be the piece I use. And there's another similar one right next to it. Let me just move my controller so I can see it. It's very similar in size and shape. And it could just be the same piece but mirror imaged. I think it is. They're very similar in the Halo 3. And the same idea. It's a little rougher looking. It's not as smooth, but but they're almost identical. When you put them both in the same camera shot, they're nearly identical rocks. So I'm going to find another one, and what I might do is I might just swap them back and forth. So I'm going to find another piece that fits this spot in my giant rocks over here, my big rock collection. I already tried that one there, didn't like it. I want to avoid using this biggest one because I'm going to be using so many of those. Besides, the tip of this it's a big square piece, and that's not what I'm after. I don't think I'll be using that on the ground, but because I already have plans for those. That's one I already tried. Is it? I'm not sure. Now there's one more. Where is it? Is it this one? No, that one's pretty round. Ah, there it is. There it is, right there. That's the other one I want to try right there. So let's go over here. And let's just see if there's any of this that I can use. No, not a chance. I thought it was way taller. You see, I thought I could get away with using this as the path, and that is the rock, but this is the, yeah. It's just no, I thought it was a bigger gap between the two edges, but see, it does the same thing. It gives you the cover, but it's just not, it won't line up with the ground. It's going to be this huge, because the ground is the same height as this piece here, and then that's just way too tall. So let's see if there's any other parts of it I can use. Let me just spin it around here. See, I thought if I turned it, maybe. Let's try it. No, come on. There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. Now line the top up, see if anything else. Line the top up and then push it out so the first one shows. And no, it's obviously way too wide. It'll just completely fill the path. So this, oh, I just found something I'm going to use later. This is a rock I need to use later, right here. So I'm just going to memorize where that is. Okay, good. Let's go back and see if there's anything else we can use out here, because there's one more piece. I'm just trying to find where it is. That's the one we used. Oh, that is it there. This is the piece I'm using. See, I use this piece as the original launch, or as the launch pad on the griff ball court. So that's useless. And I already tried that one. We might just have to go and place an actual rock. Wait, I tried that for the first one. It might work for the second one. Let's try it. Yeah, it might work for the second rock. Ooh, we might have something here. No, we don't. It's not. Yeah, once again, it interferes with the path. Okay, so that's a bust. I think. Let's try something. Yeah, that still interferes with the path. See, because I know the path is going to go from the bottom of this to the bottom of that. It's just a bump. Yeah, but that'll upset vehicles if you're driving down that path. And that rock's going to look kind of stupid hanging out on an angle like that. So, is there any other, before I toss it away, any other parts of this that might work? Maybe. Now you have to, there's a platform in between these two rocks. That's about the width of 3 warthogs, so that's a bit narrow. And yes, it interferes with the path, so let's get rid of that one there. You know what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to duplicate this and just see if there's another part of it that I can use. I obviously wouldn't want to use the same piece, but I'm just wondering if there's any pointy bits that might be interesting. Way too big. Way too big and interferes with the pathway. And the other pieces... Oh, wait a sec. I haven't tried that. So basically the same piece just turned on its side. And maybe turn it a bit more extreme. There's the height. There's the width. Depth can come over. Yeah, but that interferes here because that is supposed to be a straight path. See, that sticks out. It should be even with this one. So that piece is a no-go. So I think in this case we might just end up with a the same piece here and see if it fits. I mean, it's safe. Cat is grabbing my shoulder. No, Cat, I'm a bit busy here. Get you next time. But right, we already determined that this piece is too small because it does have to continue all the way from the height of that to the base of this. So right, that piece is too small. Let's just bring this piece down over here. That was our original second choice. Maybe it's better suited for this spot. What I'll do is I'll turn it on the same angle as this piece. Let me just see how it looks on the map here on Halo 3. Come on, Halo 3 runs so slow. Okay, I can see straight up the path, and it does interfere a little bit with the path, but that's okay. And the front is very smooth compared to this one. I'm just going to put them both in my field of view so I can compare them here. Okay, this is the outer vehicle path. That's about right. The upper path Oh. Right. Oh no, that's too far away. Way too far. It cuts right into the path. Is the path wider here? Because I can always... Yeah, I see. You should be able to drive a Scorpion through here, not a problem. And the way it's set now, it's going to be way too narrow. So that piece is not going to fit as it is. We need to be able to design our own rocks. Hint, hint. So, let's get rid of that. Let's go looking again. Nope, nope, nope. Double nope. You know what? There might be a part of this I can use. Let's try that. Might be able to get away with that. I noticed there's an interesting rock on the bottom. And if I can get away with... I think you see it right there. You see, the bottom part is going to be hidden. It's not going to be quite as tall as I wanted, but that's okay. The front... Oh, wait, let me position it properly. Actually, I'm going to move my movement type to object. There we go. So my turning is camera, my movement is object. Okay, the height, that's the problem. The height, it needs to be up that high. This is perfect because the don't you dare. The cat, if I don't pick him up, put him on my lap, and pet him, he will bite my arm. And he will... trying to train him to not bite my arm. Kind of important that your animal doesn't try to eat you. Let's just... I'm just going to grab this piece here. See, because this is the vehicle path, and I don't want you to be flying through here on a flag run, catch these bumps, and flip your hog over. So I want to be absolutely sure that this spot here... Let me turn on magnets, that's probably a better idea. There, the magnets are set to the pillar, which is exactly measured, see? So I have to make sure that nothing shows through here that'll upset your vehicle. So let's just drop that down a touch. Turn my Z fighter on. There we go. Now it's not quite as high as I wanted. And it sticks out a little bit. It's the right width. Oh right, I can turn it more, so that's nice. So let me turn it a bit more. Of course, every time I do that, I have to drop it a little bit. You see that bit there is where it lines up with the ground, so I don't care that it sticks out a little bit farther, because as long as where it intersects with the ground, which is this little red piece sticking out here, that's your lower vehicle path. So I want to make sure that your lower vehicle path has nothing to impede your movement, like no rocks jutting out that would stop you. Like you would bump off that, but it wouldn't stop you cold. So I think we found a rock. It's got the sharp top that the other one should have. It doesn't look too bad with this one. Yeah, I think it's not exactly the matched pair I was hoping to, and the lines go in a different direction, but it fits almost exactly the way I need it to fit. Move it over just a bit. So it's halfway between those two. That still shows, that shows. Oh, and I can turn it. This way, just slightly. And you can obviously just still jump on it. Or can you? Yeah, no problem. Alright, so there's 2 rocks done. Of course, you know, I'm probably going to go through and change them all again, but for now, these are the rocks I'm using for these 2 spots. Okay, 3rd rock, what does it look like? Once again, wish I could show you, but I have to switch screens as well for this, because I have to figure out which rock was the 3rd rock. Rock 3. That's the... okay, that's the next one up. This one is kind of a square rock. It is at the... it's at the base of the hill that runs up to the where the turret sits on the right-hand side. There's a rock that sits at the transition between the upper path and lower path. And this was kind of a square one, so let me... as soon as my monitor switches over, I'm going to move my Halo 3 controller over. And go have a look at that. No, it is kind of a flat rock. But if you look at it from the straight on, it looks like a rectangular shape, kind of flat. But most of it is embedded in the snow. There's just parts of it sticking out. So I might be able to get away with using the same piece that I use for the stacks. I know I definitely won't need to use a big one. But this rock splits 3 paths. There's the lower vehicle path. There's a medium footpath. And then there's the upper vehicle path that heads towards the teleporter room, the man cannon, and the turret that's up there. But it's a very narrow one. Narrow, thin. Let's see what we can use for that. That's this one here. You can see how narrow it is. That's the top. That's the upper path. You know what? Let me... this is kind of in the way. This just represents where the unused man cannon goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my trick for moving stuff out of the way. Is I don't delete anything, by the way, unless it absolutely needs to be deleted. If I need to move something, that's how I'll do it. I'll duplicate it, magnetize it, get rid of that, and then later just do the opposite to put it back where it was. That's a good way to... that's just holding the position of where it's going to be. So anyhow, this is the next rock. There is, here, follow the way I float. There is, the vehicle path is across the bottom. And then right in front of this is where there's a small human path, a biped path, that narrow one that runs up to the teleporters. Up to the turret. And then the one that... ignore this wall here. This is just here. Let me actually move that out of the way too. There is a there's a vehicle path that goes up here and along the wall, and this is your teleporter room. This represents the exact position where this teleporter room is. So that there's a vehicle path that goes around behind this rock. So it's got to be kind of a narrow, thin rock. Not as thin as these yet. Because I'll show you where I'm going to use these one. You'll like where I'm going to be placing this one. I already have it figured out, but there's a really great place for this rock. I do need to have the thinnest rock available, and I see nothing here that I can use. And this one, unfortunately, has terrain built in. So there's really nothing I can use. That one's way too small. Yeah, that's way too big. I think this one's too small, but I'm going to try it. If it fits, it fits. I doubt it will, but not way too small. So in the case of this, I might have to use go to my big rock collection and see if there's anything tall and thin jutting out of one of these pieces. I've already used this one, but I'm not afraid to use it again because I'll probably come back to that. That's probably the piece I'm going to use. That's another possibility right there. That's about the shape I need. Actually, that's exactly the shape I need. Oh, except this part sticks out. Maybe not. We'll come back to that. You know what? I'm going to select it in case that's the one. Actually, no. Let's see. See, I'd rather use a smaller one if I can. And that's another possibility right there. That one's definitely thin and not thinner, but it's kind of a huge piece to use for such a small rock. And as I said, I'm not going to use that unless I absolutely have to. I won't use either of those two. Those are the biggest two pieces. Oh, right, here's another one. Show you that. It'd be a shame to use this giant rock trunk, or that's actually a terrain cliff, just for that piece, but if I have to, I will. And these are arches here. We probably won't be using them anywhere. Oh wait, there is an arch, because on the original map, if you run it right off the end and look to your left, there is actually an arch down here on the original map. So if I have one piece left over, I'll put it on. So anyhow, where were we? We were going to see if this piece is... That's the same one as the one we're using. And that's probably the one I'm going to end up using again. But it's going to be turned on an angle, so let's see if it fits. Does it fit here? Wow, that's far away. And I don't know where it is. Oh wow, look where it is. I'm deleting that. Thank you very much. That's kind of a weird glitch. There we go. That's a little more what we were trying to do. So in the case of this one, I'm going to just turn it dramatically down. And like so. And like no, I want the smooth side out. Then again, if I do the smooth side out, this side doesn't stand a chance here. Let me try turning it. Wow. The original rock has a piece sticking out the top. I'm going to lean it just a bit, because it's leaning as well. So lean it a bit, pull it out as far as I can to the top. I'm not really worried that that piece doesn't fit. This is the where the path marks, and you know what? There's a snow, kind of a snowbank leaning up against it. So that's okay. Now let me see if that piece sticks out in front of the path. No, because the path comes right where the camera is. It's going right here, and then it meets up with the rock, and then it goes out from here. So the fact that this piece is sticking out makes no difference whatsoever. So I think we found our rock. Let's see what it looks like from the top. Let me run around over here. Because there's just a small bit of it sticking out of the top. Oh, and it's two pieces when you're looking at it from this end. It's exactly like what it is here, just slightly different, slightly shifted. Here, let me look at it from a definite point of reference, which is the entrance, the corner of this cave entrance here. Okay, that's a perfect view, because it's oh, right where I was almost. Looking at it from here. Oh, all I have to do is turn it. I just realized I had my rotation snap at 5 degrees and I usually have it freehand. I was wondering why everything was moving so dramatically. So there's the height, there's the base, there's the inner part. I don't care that it's interfering with the path because that's exactly like the original rock is. And that's where the path splits up around here. That's not going to be hard to do. And it leans a little bit more inward. Just a little bit more. There's our rock. Oh right, let me check the bottom. The path goes here and around here. So yeah, that's fine. And that's going to blend in well with the piece I'm going to use for this, which is probably going to be one of the biggest pieces. Either that one there or that one there is going to be the wall that connects the bottoms of all these rocks. So there we go. That's three of the rocks positioned so far. I don't really like that the snow is turned sideways on this one. The other ones are upright, where this one's sideways, but whatever. They don't need to be all facing the same direction. Which is next? Rock 4, I think, is the one in the middle, but I have to confirm. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm not showing the pictures anyway, so I'll just pick a rock at random. You know what? I'll do the one that's out past these ones here, and it's just a small one. That's right here. But I'm going to switch the screen over so that you can see what I'm building. If you have any ideas, pipe up. Hopefully I can get these done before 3:15, 4. Oh wait, I got an hour and a half. I'm good to go. Okay, switch over to Halo 3. Just so you can see the rock I'm going to make. This is the one by the on the top, the top player straight ahead. That's just below the platform that contains the man cannon and the turret. And it's just the small one. I can probably get away with using like one of the rock stacks for that one. Let's see though. It might be small enough for that. Change it back over. I really need 2 capture cards for this because I'm going to be doing when I'm done these, and once Halo PC comes out, I'm going to be doing tutorials for Halo PC. or Halo 5 Guardians Forge for Windows 10. And I'm going to be having to switch back and forth much simpler than what I'm doing here. So let's... oh, are you all done? You're back from outer space?
Yeah.
Good. Carly has packed up No Man's Sky for the taking a break. Let's see. Right, I've switched over. So let's find us... wait, no, I want to switch me over so I can see the rock in real time. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my other controller on it so I'm looking at two different angles at the same time. Bear with me. So just take a second. Flying across the map in Forge mode and Halo 3 takes forever, but we're so spoiled now with our Forge controls. I'm going to look at it from the turret so I can see what it... or actually I'll look at it from where the rocket is placed or the man cannon's placed so I can... looking down the hill and another view looking up the hill, and that way I got a fly buzzing around my face here. There we go. So that way I can get an idea of what it's supposed to look like in Halo 3. Okay, so this one is smaller, so I'm gonna go back to the stacks where we were originally, and I keep trying this one and it's always too small. Hopefully it isn't this time. And once again, it's too small. Let's just call this one Snowball. There's this one's next. Hopefully it fits. If it is, let's move. We're going to move right on to the next one. It's on a bit of an angle. There's the top of it. Oh, I'm out of bounds. Let me get back in bounds. Now the problem is this is where the ground meets here. So you want the fat part of the rock to be where the ground is. Otherwise it's going to look like a boulder sitting on top of the snow. So I don't think that this one's suitable. These formations are not big enough, obviously. So what's the next one? The next one's my shark grin, which I use so many of. I really don't want to use it here, but if I have to, I will. It's kind of the right shape. No, the pointy side is uphill. Well, it meets 3 of the 4. It meets all of the. So looking up the hill, get inbounds here. Way wrong. Looking down the hill, that's way wrong as well. It's completely opposite of what it should be. It should be more like that. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it's supposed to be. So there's the top. Let's try this. I haven't used the bottom of this anywhere, so maybe this is the place for that. So the back side of it should face here. Oh, look at that. That's it. That's it right there. That's my rock. Yeah, right shape and everything. Oh, wow. Look at it from the bottom. That's correct as well. Oh, wow. And you see the... Oh, wait. Let me just lower a bit. And the wide part is kind of near the bottom-ish. That matches. This doesn't, so let me just move it over. Or just kind of generally put it between the two. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It's a rock. Just needs to be, you know, fairly close. We'll make the leading edge a little more familiar. The back edge isn't. But I do want it to be in the right place, so we'll go with a nice average. Because it does look right. And from this point of view, it's almost identical in shape. So that's a rock. Let's save. Forgot to save recently. Okay, that was easy. 3 rocks to go. This is kind of an oddball, so let's do this one next. This is a 2-piece, but the bottom part is terrain and the top part is rock. And I want them to be contrasting slightly. Here, I'll show you in game. So let me just fly over here there first before I switch over. And I'll show you 2 different views. These are, it's right above the ice rink in the middle. There's 2 ice rinks, 3 ice rinks on this side. And I'm going to go over that in the next show, but I'll just, whoop, I'm grabbing all the wrong controllers. There we go. This one's going to be a little more difficult because I want this one. It has quite a bit of contrast, and everything's white in the middle of the map. Everything kind of blends together. So I'm gonna see what I can do about that. I'm gonna try to I might even use a terrain piece as a rock in this case, just because it has so much contrast. So let me switch you over to Halo 3. What are you up to, Oracle?
Heading over to Jimmy's.
Ah. Bring back an ice cube for me. Switching over to Halo 3. Let's step back in time 10 years. There we go. This rock is dead center on the right side of the map. It's just... you have to go around it to hit the man cannon, as you can see on the top screen, and it's really the only defining feature in the middle of the map other than the ice rink. So I want to make this kind of stand out as a visual reference for when you're driving. If it's all white on an all white background on an all white ground, it's really not going to stand up. So I'm going to have to find some way to differentiate this rock and make it. I don't really want to use an alpine rock because this side is all snow where the other side is rock and snow. This side is all snow and ice, and I really want to keep that look. So we're going to try to find something that stands out. This could be difficult, but we'll figure something out. We always do. Switch it back. Okay. See, as I was... Oh, wait, we're not back yet. There we go. As I was saying, these pieces are all rock, and the ground, most of the ground I'm going to be using here is going to be the... I'm not going to be using very much terrain. I'm actually going to be using these. For a good part of my ground is going to be these rocks and cliffs and chunks and that, because they look so much better. They look more natural. They look like fresh fallen snow. So I'm going to be using these as much as possible. And this part right here could even be the base of the structure I'm using. So I don't want to use these for I don't want to use those for the and they also have 2 different sides. Some of them have 4 sides. But I'm going to be using a lot of those. So in this case, I'm not going to use any of these for this rock because I don't want it to be white and I don't want it to be brown. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to be, see if you remember the other one, it had the dark colors. I'm probably going to use a piece of terrain as that rock. But the problem with terrain is that they're very, very smooth. There's no real defining edges to them. Plus they have the seam on them, which would really look out of place. That seam right there. So I'm going to look around at different terrain pieces and see. So there's one possibility. Let me go spawn one down here. What's going on? Oh, alright, I have it set to Z Fighter. Likely not, but too small, obviously, but maybe the next size up. There you go. See what I mean about it's got the kind of a rocky look to it. Even that's a bit big, but the next size up is way too big. See, that one there, way too big. Even if I... Oh, you never know. Let me, you know what, I'm going to set this one aside. I may use it. Like, I only need to use a corner of it, right? So let me just try using a corner of it. I'm going to try using the other corner. Oh, you know what? By corner, I really did mean corner. Let me start with that. Tilt it up. Yeah, that really doesn't do it. I might have to rethink this whole using terrain thing. Or just use a really huge one. That could be it. What else do we have in terrain? Flats. We got the... see, that would be just a little too smooth for that shape of rock. Hills, bowls, slope helpers. And if I use the edge of that, it's got a seam on it. And I might be using that for the base part of the rock anyway. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I had to take that. That's a callback I've been waiting for almost a week now. So she finally got back to me. So she'll be calling me back again in about 10 minutes. So it will be a lot quicker that time. But sorry, I was excited to get that call because it's from a specialist in London, and I really needed to get the information from her. So I'm really happy that she got back to me. Anyhow, here we are. We are looking for a weird rock. So I'm going to try. Oh, right. I already determined that this. Oh, wait. This. Yes, this slope helper has a has a seam on it, which I don't want. So you know what? I'm gonna try that one. See if that works. And I'm just gonna be using a corner of it again. Size is better. All right, let me put the flat side up here. Oh, the size of this is like perfect. Wait, I'm gonna switch over to the Halo 3 so I can, and the coloring's bang on. The coloring's exactly what I was going for. What I might do is I might end up using 2 pieces of these and meld them together. Okay, so it's kind of long. Looking from the man cannon, it's narrow to wide. So where's my man cannon? Right here. It goes narrow to wide. So it would tilt this way. I'm going to try the next size up. So that's 93 by 104. That's that one there. Yeah. So let me try this one here. There it is. Lost it for a second. There it is. This one may be what we're looking for. Do I have the right end? No, I got the wrong end. Oh, yeah, right. That's the end I want right there. And I want it tilting away and down. Fat end on this side. There's the height. There's the width. And other than the fact that there's a seam on it, that's kind of what I was looking for. Let me just tilt it a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of them and put them together so that I can hide that seam. Wait, I'd like the bottom part showing, so let me take the... Whoa. I grabbed the wrong thing. Right, that's the rock there. No, that's really not doing it for me. There, that's kind of what I want to do. I wanted to just have to break up the lines on it by putting another piece. Just like I'll tweak this when the map's done, but this is kind of what I want to do. There is a piece jutting out of the front end of it anyhow. So what this does is it kind of breaks up, because you recognize that piece as one of the other terrain pieces. So when you have another one embedded into it, it looks a little more natural, a little rougher. And so when the map is done, I will play around with these to get them to look right. But for now, this is what I'm going to use for this rock. And it's got the color I want. Oh wait, that was why we were putting this here, was to get rid of that seam, right? So there we go. That's what I'll do. I'll just embed this in. There, that gets rid of the seam, right? So there's this seam here. We don't have to worry. This part will be underground right here. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So there's the right shape of the rock. It's got the nice color, the nice texture. And when I put one of these here, I'll show you. When I put something, the white terrain underneath it, I'm just putting this here. Let me get inbounds first. Why? Oh, there we go. Just to represent the ground. The ground is going to be one of these white pieces here. And there you see the nice contrast. That's exactly what I was looking for. And it's going to be approximately there. Oh, wait. Sorry, let me just move them over to where they should be. Yeah, and so when we put the nice white snowy ground on it, that's what this rock is gonna look like. That's exactly the look I wanted. I want it to be a focal point that you can lock your eyes onto. So yeah, there we go. It's got a nice snowy rocky look. Oh, lots of chat going on here. Use that in one of my maps. Which one? Yes, sorry. Yeah, my mic's out. I turned my mic off because I didn't want to hear you talking to my doctor. I've been waiting a week for her to call back, and she just called back now with some really good news. So anyhow, I'm not going to share that with you. But that's why my mic was off. Talking about ground volume player. Oh, wait, that's an old message. Sorry. Can I play with you? Actually, I would say yes, but I have to go 3, 4. Actually, I don't have to go for an hour. Next time we're going to be placing actual terrain, and I want people in here that can have a copy of Halo 3 open as well, because I'm going to be wanting, like Nalapudin was in last time, and so next time I come in, once these rocks are done, we're going to actually be placing the ground, and I want lots of opinions on people on what looks good and what doesn't look good, because I only want to do the ground once. I might tweak it later, but when the ground's done, and we're going to move right on to structures after that. But I'm trying to make as few compromises as possible as far as the ground and terrain goes. So I want this to have a real strong Halo 3 look and feel, but be modernized and updated for Halo 5 in appearances and in the structures as well. But we'll get into all that later. I keep interrupting myself. We're working on rocks today. Let's just focus on rocks because there's only a couple left to do. So anyhow, this isn't exactly the rock I'm going to use in exactly the position, but it's pretty damn close. So I'm going to see what it looks like in gameplay, and we're going to compare it to the original. But this is the exact look I was going for, the exact coloring I wanted to see. Oh, right. This isn't going to be... Oh, right. It is in shadow. It's half in shadow. So the shadow on the map lines up with this rock. So when we build this structure, you see I picked this canvas because the sun is kind of in the right place. Actually, no, the sun is back there in the original, so it's not right. But anyhow, different time of day. How's that? So there. But the either way, I'm going to make it so that the shadow, this side of the map is half in shadow and half in light, and I'm going to have it try to make it so it looks like that in game as well, because I will be able to kind of control where the shadow goes. So for now, let's get rid of this. Let's call these rocks. So that's done. Rock 1, Rock 2, Rock 3, Rock 4, Rock 5, Rock 6. The next rock is kind of an important one, and oh no, I didn't measure it. We're gonna skip it. There's a rock right here. I forgot to measure it. No, you know what? Let's go measure it. You need to know how I did this, right? It's just one rock. So let's switch over to Halo 3. And I'm going to show you how I measure the rocks. I just have to get my pen and paper out so I don't have to memorize anything. I'm going to show you something. Remember at the beginning of the broadcast, I told you that I spent about 20 hours in Forge, and you think, sure, Jeff, or sure, Knock, you exaggerated, but I want to show you something. Let's... I just want to get live here. Whatever. I just want to make sure this shows up. There we go. That's my notes for all the rock positions. Okay. Like you see all those measuring posts? Well, I had to actually go through the game. There's the first quadrant. It's all the dimensions and measurements for all those yellow posts you saw. The second quadrant was much more complicated because it's got the bridge by the man cannon and turret. I had to measure and do all that. So you see all these measurements and dimensions. That's all for the yellow posts from the area where the ice rink and the bridge and the turrets are. I still have yet to do quadrant 3, but it's a pretty simple one because there's nothing on it. I mean, we've just placed almost everything on it now, except for a few measurements where the turret goes. Well, no, I've already placed the turret, and a few other odds and ends. There's quadrant 4. That's the base on this side of the map we've been working on, and so when I said I've been spending about 20 hours, that's I'm underestimating. It was probably more like 25 or 26 hours that I've spent so far. But I didn't show all that because that's a lot of talking for me. Again, I don't know if you noticed, but I talk almost the entire time I'm broadcasting. And doing measurements, you kind of have to focus so you don't write down the wrong number. Anyhow, we're back to the page, the first page with rocks. And rock 5, I just want to confirm which is rock 5. I have the measurements for it, so we don't have to switch to Halo 4. I actually have written down the measurements for that. Rock 5 is... Yes, rock 5 is the one by the ghost. And it's right beside the ghost. And it's kind of like this one we've just placed. But I actually want to use a rock for this because there's going to be terrain. The ground is going to be terrain, so I want the rocks to be made out of snow. So this is the rock that is right by the ghost. I will switch you over to Halo 3 so you can see it since I can't post this picture. And that's not it. More button pushing. This is the rock we're doing here. You see there's a tree here, so we know where one of the sides of it are. And the ghost. Now see the front of the rock lines up with this sill here, which I've already measured. And so it's kind of an important rock. I want to make sure it looks good. And it's kind of rounded. And the dimensions are very important because this is a vehicle path that goes up to this middle level here. So you got this upper stage, then a middle one, and then a lower one, and that's at the transition between the two. So I want to try to keep the same look as that. It's not going to have the like the blue icy look to it. It's going to be one of the white ones. Because these 3 ledges here I've already determined are going to be terrain. That way I can do this whole area here I can do with 4 or 5 pieces. So that's kind of why I want to do that. So this rock's a little bit larger and a little bit wider, so it gives us a little more flexibility. So I'm going to focus my my screen in on here and move my other controller to the other side so I can see what it looks like from both sides at the same time. So from this rock pillar where the invis is, I'm going to look at it from that so I can view this whole side of the map in one shot. Okay, let me switch you back over to Halo 5. And as I said, I already have the dimensions down for Rock 5, so I don't have to go in there and measure it. So let me switch you back to Halo 5. And verify that is Rock 5 in my measurements. Oh, sorry, Rock 6. Yes, I do have Rock 6. Okay. And we're back. Rock 6. Let me go grab my measuring sticks. So this will show you what I've been doing for the past few days. So I'm just going to duplicate this and put it in position, more or less. So we know it's generally in this area here. This tree is a little bit big, but I'll be replacing it with a small one that's more suited, or just dropping it down depending on what it's supposed to look like. But we're gonna revisit trees another day. So for right now, let's go get the quadrant 3 measuring stick, which is right here, and let's set the size. Bottom is 65. Length is 380. So you can imagine 20 hours of this. Aren't you glad I didn't turn on my camera for that? 380. Mostly because the Halo 5, although the measuring is nice, it's so much slower than Halo 3. Because you're going up by hundreds, where in Halo 3 it was in tens. So, sorry, what was that? Oh, 380. I went way past. See, that's another thing. When I have the camera on, I can't focus on little things like this. 380, and the width is 110. Oh. Right, I have to go to my tool settings, display boundaries, all, and that leaves it turned on. So as you see, I'm using red ones for rocks and the yellow ones are for terrain. So I just match this exactly. Once I get it close, I usually go under it. I go to my object properties position to verify You see each one ends in a 0, 609, 304, 5, minus 55. That doesn't have to correspond to the actual size, because if I had used 000 as the center of the map, then I could just plug these numbers in directly, but I didn't, because I didn't want the middle of my map way over there. So anyhow, just to verify that's in the right position, you just look at the top and it should be exactly 1/4 slice where it intersects. So replicate this for the next one. Actually, I replicate it after I moved it so I don't get confused thinking that it's one that was already placed and really mess me up. So second position is, bottom is 58. Length is 445. And width 125. See, now I duplicate it. Now sometimes it doesn't matter. And sometimes the bottom is in the ground, so you have to line it up away from the ground first and then slide it into position, but in this case we're good. So just manually place it. Go to Object Properties, Position, and key in the numbers until they line up. See, in this case, the numbers are 445, 125, they end with 5, so in that case, these numbers should end in 50. There we go, perfect. So that is the middle left side of the rock. The next number will be the top of the rock. So the bottom number is obviously going to be lower, and it's 27. by 430. By 145. Yes, taking remakes to the next level. Or 2 or 3 next levels, depending on how you count games. Sorry, what did I say? It was 145, and I went way past. There we go. Now you might wonder why I go to such extremes with the measurement, but I'm spending a lot of time now, but when I actually go to make the map, it's going to seem like it takes minutes to make because all the work's done. You don't have to guess where things are going to go. You don't have to say, oh, this is perfect, this is perfect. Then you look at it from the other side of the map and it looks way out of place. All your sight lines will all be off. You'll have to readjust everything. This way, I know that the framework is exactly the same as the Halo 3 map, and everything else I do is just my decision on how it looks. Everything else is taken care of for me. So it may take a little bit longer to do setup, but in the end it's going to be way faster to build. 0 and up to 0. Check the top. Nice little slice of pizza. Alright, next is the lower right side of the rock. Lower right side, 68. So it's a bit lower than the other ones, which were in the 58. So this one's 68 because it's the lower side of the ledge. .68. Length is 390. Or in Halo 3 speak, 39. 390, was it? Yes, 390. And depth is, or width is 180. See, this one's a little bit larger than the other rocks we've been working with. You see, you can kind of see the rock forming here, can't you? And there we go. Check my work. Beautiful. One last piece. And it's going to be somewhere around there. So the last piece is 62 by 490. So 100 more than the other one. I did a little drinking game last time I played this, and if one measurement was more than 100 more than the previous one, I took a drink. So I went through 4 beers that night. One sip at a time. 490 by 222. 62, 490, 222. Way past. Overshot it. So to give you an idea, this piece is actually going to be about here, and this piece is going to be here. See? And I was going to use these for sills until I realized, oh, who put this nice seam here? So I'm going to have to use something different for these pieces here. But that's approximately, it's actually not quite as big as a hill as that, but oh wait, my mistake. I think this one is actually supposed to be here. No, that's too small now. Either way, whatever. Oh wait, the ghost is correct. That's where the actual piece is. Either way, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're placing rocks right now. I just wanted to place these approximately where they were so it's easier to visualize where the rock is supposed to be. Yeah, let's just place it there. That's just for visual references. Oh right, and I also have to place my last measuring stick. There we go. That one was almost too good to be true. And I'm going to turn off the markers so I don't... Tool settings. Display boundaries examine. There we go. So there's our next rock. So I'm going to just go back and look. Just want to look at it again. It's kind of an odd shaped thing, but once again we're going to start with rocks, and I don't think we are, but because there's nothing here that's even close. You know what? Nah, we already determined these ones aren't big. These ones are definitely not big enough. See, and there's a stack right here. See, that is 3 pieces right there, and even that wouldn't fit. So we're definitely going to need something bigger. I don't want to do this treatment unless I absolutely have to in that spot. Because, as I said, the ground is going to be made out of this material, so I don't want the rock to be made. I want more contrast. So we're going to have to go back to our large rock collection, and I'm just going to have one more look here. Yeah, even this one turned on its side. It's going to be too wide and not tall enough, so not this one. So none of these things that are called rocks are actually going to be used as rocks for this rock. So we need to find something a little more suitable from this area. We've used this one to great effect, but we might be able to use another part of this, and I was thinking of this. So let's try that. Plunk, we're done. Only if. Oh, maybe. It's looking good so far. See, there's the height. There's the width. The length isn't too bad. Where does it lean? It leans more away from this area here. So let me tilt it inward. I just want to move my Halo 3 camera around to look at it straight on from the side. Yeah, definitely highest in the middle. Let me just bring this piece out and have another look at it. Yeah, see, that one's too fat. That one's just... You know what, let me try that. No, That doesn't suit it. I like this one better. We're gonna make it work. And the fat end is supposed to be the infield one, so let's turn it around that way. Or let's turn it this way. There we go. That's more like it. Is it supposed to lean in? No, it's supposed to be a little more upright. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. It fits almost perfectly. It's out by a little bit. I'm not really too concerned. Actually, I am concerned because it's got to line up with the ground out here. So this is actually that's a pretty important measurement right there. Plus the tree, it can't be embedded into the tree. So maybe it needs to be a little more upright and a little lower. See, because the ground is going to come around here, and see the tree's embedded in the rock, so we can move it forward a bit. Now, if you look at the original, the tree is touching the rock. So you know what I'm going to do is, and it's a medium tall tree, but it's a skinnier tree. So I'm going to do something unusual that I wouldn't normally do, but it's kind of important. I'm going to break this up, and I'm going to do that magnet thing where I stick this to the other one just to get it out of the way, but it still holds its position. You see, I just stuck with magnets the same piece, and then I'm going to delete this cylinder just because I want to be able to see the tree. And because I don't want the rock to be inside the tree. In the other game there, you could probably just toss a grenade between the two. Yeah, you can see between them, but there is not enough room to walk between them. But you could easily toss a grenade between them. There's a bit of a gap, and it's almost the same as what shape as what we have here. Almost. So let me just move that out of the way, and I'm going to turn it up a bit. Now if I have to move the tree a little bit, I can do that, but I don't want to move the trees too much because they're so accurately measured. Now the problem with this is I know you can't do this on the original rock. Like, oh, maybe you can. Let me try. So I wish I could just switch it back and forth between games, but I'm going to see if I can. Oh, you can. Oh, you can. You can run right up just like that. Exactly. One jump. I don't even think you have to jump from this side. Yeah, you do. One jump, you're up here. And yes, you can run right up to the top of the rock. So, I think we found our rock. This is a little more ideal than all the other ones we had. So, let me just make sure the dimensions are right. The height could go a touch taller. It could lean away a little bit. Enough room to toss a grenade between there. I'm not so concerned about this because the ground is actually going to be right up here, so it's sticking out a little bit more than I'd like on this side. And in a bit, you know what, I'm going to make it a little more upright rather than leaning. I'd rather have it this side just perfectly square, and the other side is leaning a bit. See, when they're leaning over, they don't look natural. Once again, I should make it clear that the ground in the front is going to be Right about there. See, so that's how it's going to look in the ground. So don't worry about this nosy bit sticking out here. Oh, bit too close. You know what, I'm going to make this perfectly adjusted because that way I never have to touch it again. I'm going to turn the angle down just a bit. Around there, around there. Yeah, we have rock. There we go. Saving the map. I'm smiling, so I'm saving. That was very successful. Thanks for the sub, Master Chief. Nice to see the actual Master Chief has time to, you know, watch YouTube when you should be saving the galaxy and trying to get Cortana under control. But, you know, anytime you want to stop in, that's fine by me. Sorry, I get too immersed sometime. Anyhow, rock is done. Rock is done. Rock is done. Rock is done. Rock is in progress, but we're going to wait to see what the rest of the map looks like before we finish this rock. So, 2 more rocks to go, and we're done for the day. And these are nestled back in here. Now, there's a problem with these rocks. And the problem with these rocks is I can't do them. You see, I have to. There's a problem with this terrain, and this is the absolute perfect. If you watch the broadcast where I was scouting terrain, and I found this to be the best place for terrain, and for so many reasons. The only problem is where the original map drops in this one goes up. Now, it's okay because there's supposed to be a hill behind the man cannon so that you can't, so when you're sneaking up, you can't be seen approaching the man cannon. Unless they're standing right on the very lookout, they won't see you in front of the base until you approach the man cannon. Okay? And in front of the base, this is the front. This represents the front door right here. In front of the base, these are where the vehicles park, and there's another ridge right about here that you can hide behind. So if you're rocking in front of the man cannon, or doing your flag run, or you know what we used to do is we used to park the Warthog right here, so they couldn't see it. Pop the flag, take the man cannon. Instead of going downfield, just jump back and into the waiting vehicle, which is hidden right here, because there's a snow mound right here that blocks your view of the base. So I'm gonna have to replicate that. The problem is it's supposed to drop down in this area over here, but instead it raises up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to cheat, and cheating's kind of allowed in remakes, but what we're going to do is you see this measuring stick, this one here, the bottom of this is where the ground is supposed to be, and that's where the base of the rock is. What we're going to do is everything from, see, this post here is okay, this tree is okay, this tree is okay, it's just this little mound right here that messes us up, and it goes all the way to here to where it gets caught up to where it is. So what we're doing is everything in this area, we're going to take everything and just raise it up a bit so that instead of making the ground match the map, we're going to make the map match the ground. So that, because there is a sneaky path that goes from this teleporter up here, there's some rocks here, and you see this path here? There's a path that goes up here, behind this rock here, up here, there's an opening here, there's another rock here, and then there's a path here, and then this path goes down, and it goes under the bridge right here. So what we have to do is everything in this area here, these trees, these rocks, this path, and these pieces here, because there's supposed to be a little lip here, I might just ignore it and just leave it exactly as it is, because the lip really makes gameplay wise, it makes no difference. It's not like you can drive off it, or it's too small to drive between it. So I'm gonna probably leave this bit as is, but I'm gonna raise them up anyway. So everything in this area, I'm going to raise it up, and I'm going to cheat so that it's still going to go up again higher, and you're going to get that nice path. What I'll do is to help you visualize, I'm going to walk you through this right now in Halo 3. I'm I got to keep my eye on the time. 4:11, we're good. I got half an hour, 40 minutes. So I'm going to switch over to Halo 3. And what happened? I can't see myself. Oh, there we go. There we go. Am I still broadcasting? Oh, well, good. Yes, here we go. Right. Okay, we're good. I panicked a sec because my YouTube on the iPad shut off for a second there, but it just switched screens. So we're good. So, right, I have to switch over to the computer, switch you to Halo 3 because I don't have the ability to do that because I need a new capture card. So, component input. And I'm lucky that I'm using the Elgato, the old Elgato HD because it has component and HDMI, and that's the way I'm doing this. So I'm running the Xbox 360 through a component cables to my TV, to my monitor, the same way I'm doing with the Xbox One, but it's all component. Not using the HD. Actually, it's too old. It doesn't even have HDMI. So I have a component switcher and I have an HDMI switcher that goes in, and they both feed into the Elgato game capture. So I have to actually go into the Elgato software and switch my sources back and forth. If I had a proper, like an Elgato HD60 someday, who knows, I can just switch back and forth between just switch scenes back and forth between the two, and then that way I'll be able to do picture in picture so that I can show you both at the same time without having to do this annoying switching. So anyhow, enough of that. Let me show you what I'm doing right now, and I'm kind of nervous about this, so I'm going to save the map before we do it. You know what? I'm going to drive there. I'm lazy. I'm going to drive there. I did switch you over, right? Yes, I did. I can see it on the screen here. So here's the front ice rink. I'm going to go over the ice rinks again in a bit. And there's the other ice rink. And there's going to be another third one that you don't have in this. Oh, wait. Is it here in this map? Anyhow, there's what I was saying. You see, when you're behind the man cannon, you're perfectly out of view. I'm glad I didn't go through that teleporter because it takes me out of the map. There's this spot right here that you can see from the top level, but you can kind of hide a vehicle back here. As long as there's no one standing at the top, you can have a vehicle here. So, and it's also a sneaky way for when you're on foot. And this ledge here, I'm gonna build all this. But this is what I'm showing you right here. You see, when you come over here, you've got this path. See, it dips down here. You have the outer path. You have the inner path, which are almost the same level. Actually, this one's a little bit higher. But you see, the outer path drops down. See, it's lower here than it is here. Or in Halo 5, it's higher. And then you have the sneaky path, which is wide enough for a vehicle, that goes up along here. And this is the area I'm going to spoof here. It's just this hill here. It's not very much of the map, but it's just from this tree to this tree here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take this whole area and we're going to raise it up so that I can recreate this path. So it's going to be about the height from this there to that, higher than what it is now. So it's going to be a little bit higher than the original, but not that much. And I doubt most people will even notice it because the difference between this ground and this ground is going to be the same. It's just that this ground right here is higher, so that makes this ground right here higher. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to group all my measuring sticks together. From this tree is okay, I showed that to you, but from this tree over to this cluster of 3 trees right here, we're going to raise that whole section up. And then that way I can properly place these rocks. So let's go do that now. And that's probably the last thing I'm going to do before I go, because I want to be very careful about this and come on, switch monitors. Switch over to HDMI. There we go. Oh, and I don't have my chat up. That was another problem. There we go. Master Chief asks, is there a feature to play custom maps? In the game there is, and there will be on PC soon. As soon as they release Halo 5 Guardians Forge for Windows 10, you'll be able to... Hold on, I'm just putting my notebook back, and that means I have to upset everything I have here. Please don't push any buttons. Okay. You will be able to have Forge and have custom lobbies in and play with a keyboard and mouse in custom games. You won't be able to play matchmaking or campaign or firefight or Warzone, but custom games and Forge and map testing you'll be able to do on the PC, and this broadcast will be switching over to that. So that's why I say hopefully I can get a capture card between now and then so that I can just seamlessly switch back and forth between the computer, the 360, the Xbox One, and the Halo 10 PC, and I want to be able to do it seamlessly without all this clunky turning, grabbing controllers and everything else. So if I had another capture card, it's going to make this so much easier. But I'm going to be specializing in training people and teaching people how to use the Windows 10 Forge, because there's going to be a lot of PC users that haven't played Halo, that haven't built in Forge, and this may be their first experience in Forge, and it could be a little bit overwhelming. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing builds like this, but probably a lot simpler builds. Start with griffball courts and things like that, just so people can get used to the tools, because I'm going to be learning it at the same time you're going to be learning it. I just have the advantage of years and years of Forge experience that I don't have to start from scratch with. So anyhow, let's raise this whole thing up. But before we do, as I said, I'm very nervous about doing this, so I'm going to save the map. I'm going to save it again because I'm superstitious that way. I'm not OCD, I'm superstitious. I just get the feeling that, maybe the dedicated server hiccuped the first time I saved. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to leave this build. You see, oh, right. Sorry. Save map as, that's what I meant to do. Save map as A, B, 0. Should have picked a shorter name. 0, 8. Oh, there's a space in there. Okay, and saving it, and you see that it shows up right away. Is this the map we're building on? So I saved 7, and I'm working on 8. So if I mess up anything at this from moving these things up, I can just kill this build and go back to the previous one. So as I said before, this cluster of 3 trees is good. This tree over here is good. Everything else is getting moved up. I'm not going to worry about this. I'll move that later. But everything else is going to be moved up. So the trees are already grouped. So let's group all the trees together and make one group of trees. Right, those trees are good. No. Because if I ungroup them, I ungroup them. Here's the thing about groups. I want to keep these trees in groups because they're measured and everything else. But once you release the group, if you group the trees together, you see they're grouped, the cylinder and the tree are grouped. And the reason why is the cylinder is used for measurement. The same as these ones here. Every tree has this measurement so that this ring lines up with the ground. You see, the ring will eventually line up with the ground. If I group the trees together and then ungroup them, it ungroups the cylinder from the tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise all my measuring sticks, and then I'm going to, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. So measuring stick. See, I keep count as I go. When I select something, I make sure that the words, see, column round, are actually there. So I make sure I'm selecting the right thing. Column round, that's 2. I don't need those ones, so 3. Those are already grouped. See, if a number goes down, it means you've already selected, so that's already a group. Oh, right, that whole rock is a group, right. This one, this column, this one, this one. This one, that's my measurement for my path. This measure is the front path. And I'm not sure if I have them all, so what I'll do is I'll press up on the D-pad, and that creates one big group. See, and I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to go around and see if anything doesn't have the frame on it. You see how there's a green frame around this item? Let's get right in there. See, there's a green frame on that indicating it's highlighted. So I'm going to go around and make sure, without looking at anything else or selecting anything else. See, there's the origin point, which is the bottom of that one, which is good because that's what I'm going to be measuring from. I just want to make sure everything is highlighted. Okay. And I actually want to use my point of reference. I think is going to be this path piece here, because I really don't care about these ones for measurement height. Yeah, this is the important one here, because this tells you where the path is, and this piece tells you where the path is supposed to be, which is way down at the bottom. So I want to make this piece my parent piece. And I'm sure you know how to do this, but you go into your object properties and see it's on parent is on number 2. I want to keep moving it. See, the parent is going to be outlined in blue. There it is under the tree here. See, this one's outlined in blue. The parent piece of this group, which is about 30 items, 25, 30 items, is the wrong one. So I want to make it this one, because I'm going to be using this one for my measurement. So I just go through that. Don't even have to select it. You know what? Just to show you, I don't have to select it. I just have to look at it. Object properties, parent is 2, 3, 4, there it is. Luckily, wait, yeah. When we select it, see, we are lucky it was only 4. That's the piece I want to use, because all the other pieces are going to relate to this. Now, I'm going to write down the bottom number, just so I don't forget. I'm going to go into my properties, and when you go to your properties, it's going to give you the properties for not the entire group, but for just this piece, because you see that that's where my measurement starts, and that little symbol right there. So we'll go into object properties, and the only thing we're going to look at is position, and we're going to write it down in case we mess up and shuffle stuff around. So minus 169 minus 251 minus 58. 169, 251, 58. Okay. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to figure out how much we're going to move this thing up. So let's just move it up until the bottom of this post shows. So let's go to Object Properties, Position. We're only concerned with the Z coordinate, and we're going to move it up. And as you can see, all the other pieces are moving up. It doesn't have to go all the way up, but a reasonable amount up. Let's go right about there. Sorry, the other one was 58. Let's make this 48? No, 48 is too high. Is it? Okay, we went from minus 58 to minus 48. Oh, and there we go. It lines up perfectly with the ground. So that's exactly right. Matches the ground. So this is going to match the lower path in Halo 3, and it's still going to be a lower path. The rocks and the upper path are these yellow ones here. You see, these indicate the line here. This rock is not in the right place. It should be more like that. These posts up indicate the upper path, so they're still higher. And if you can see in this is the very middle structure, the very middle of my map. You should be able to see in this doorway from here, and you can. That's one of the sight lines. You can, like if you have a sniper, you can see right through that doorway, and I forget how to zoom, but here, instead of zooming, I'll just go through. You see, this is one doorway, this is another doorway, and there you go. You see, that's a straight line. You can see right through, and in the Halo 3, you can see that's a perfect sight line through the doors to where this rock is right here. So that's perfect. The height looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to imagine we're back in Halo 3, and there's the lower path, but no, we want to take the upper path, so we go around this tree, we go up the hill, there's a rock there, there's a gap where you can go back down the hill to the bottom, and then another path up here, and then the path goes down between these trees here, because there's a rock here, and that's where the ground levels out. So that worked out perfectly, because this rock was supposed to intersect with the ground right here, because that is where the path starts. It goes around this rock and up the hill. So That is perfect. I was all nervous about doing this, and now I don't have to worry about it. And if I want to, there's supposed to be a little bit of a hill and a ramp right here. I can add that now if I want to. So I can flatten this bit out. So everything's good. The only other concern is this is the same deal. In front of the man cannon, there's supposed to be that divot, except now it's a little bit more forward. Like you'll still be able to hide from the front door of the base, but it's not as low as I'd like. So there's the only problem I'm going to have is right there. But you know what? I can make it so that the other rocks start right here. So there is still a bit of a divot in front of that. So no problem. So I was nervous about that, but it's all good now. And it's the point where I'm happy with it. So I am going to save it. What is the time? 4:30. I have to go in 15 minutes. So what were we going to do? Let's just place one of these rocks. Now, we have to do the same thing we did before, but we have to place them with right, okay. I should mention that. See this piece here? I have one here, and you may have had sharp eyes seen one here. What this indicates is there's a rock, a wall here, and a rock here, and this thing indicates a sight line. Okay, it means in the original map I can see the ground where it intersects right here. So I have to make sure when I build the rocks and that I still have that same sight line. Okay, this is actually a place where you can jump down to go into the base, or jump down between, like there's a big rock here and there's the actual bases here. So that's what those indicate. So when you see a piece here, that indicates a sight line. And these ones that are letter T's indicate a transition, which means that a lower path goes this way and an upper path goes there, and this is the actual transition point right here. So what I have there is, this is an important sight line where you can see between the rock and the tree. So I wanted to make sure that when we place the rock here, that sight line doesn't get blocked. And you know what? Let me just see if you can see that in my rock pictures. That would be rock 7. Rock 8. No, you can't see them in the pictures. But yeah, that's all it means, is that you have to be able to see in between the tree and the rock at this point. So these rocks are tall and thin. So what we're going to do is we're going to find whatever we used over here, and we're going to replicate it over there using, see, this is that's rock trunk 804 by 108. I think that's the same one here. Oh no, this is the, anyhow, this is the one I want to use here. It's the 804 by 108. Sorry, 84 by 108, but we're going to use the Alpine version of it. So let's just come over here and spawn it directly here. So natural, Alpine, I think they're chunks. 84 by 108. There it is right there. There's our rock. And I forget which one I'm going to use. Is this for 6 or 7? Or I mean 7 or 8. Let's use this one for 8, the last one. And it's nice that we can actually see the ground that it's going to be set into right away. Actually, maybe these aren't big enough. No, they're not. Look at that. I thought it was way bigger than that. Or way, yeah. Let's see if it fits in this one. This might be too small. I thought the rocks were smaller than this. But this is nice because this is the ground they're actually going to be in. Except that there's going to be a path up here. But, oh, sorry. This isn't so much a sight line. That's right, too. You can actually walk between these. Right, that's right. You can step off between here. So that has to be a bit of a gap there. So And this is the path starts here as well, so that's okay. I don't mind this rock bit here because this is it's going to intersect with the snow path that's going to be built up here. So this kind of faces like so, and the height's good, and I have to tilt it a bit more. See, I'm not concerned about this because here, let me just I just want to visualize this. There's going to be a path here. Like so. Oh wait, no, it comes out from between these, in front of the trees as well. And you have to be able to drive a vehicle through it. So that's yeah. So I can't have the. Oh, maybe I can. Let's see. Think I can drive through that? Nope. So I'm gonna have to get rid of these rocks, but that's okay because I don't mind. No, you know what? That's a very smooth path through there, so I can't use this this piece here, but I might be able to do that. That's more like it. Still got the gap there you can see through. The tree, I would be using a tree with fewer branches there. There's our rock. And I like the way it looks on the ground. As I say, that's going to be a much smaller tree. That's actually a very small tree there, I think. Yeah, that's a... That tree is only just slightly higher than the rock, so that should be shrunk way down, so I don't have to worry about these branches sticking through. So there's that rock. Let's place the last rock, and we'll be out of here. So, once again, we're going to go look at audition rocks on this side to see what fits. And I just want to have a look at the rock in Halo 3. And it's just the pointy thing. So, you know what? I'm going to use the 3752. Sure, why not? See what it looks like anyhow. 37 by 52. And we're gonna... Let's see if that fits. I think we found our rock already. That was like the quickest one yet. I'm going to tweak its position a bit. And by that I mean like I placed the rocks fairly accurately now. But what I'm going to do is have two monitors set up, obviously one with Halo 3, one with Halo 5, and I'm going to tweak things so that they're not only the right size, but they have the right angle, they look right, the lighting is right, the shadows are right. Let's put this path in between it to see what it looks like with a path. See, this is where the path starts going down. Oh, and the path is here. So that's what the top part of the rock looks like. The snowbank kind of wraps around it, and it'll wrap around it a little bit more than that. But that oh, there it is. This is just to kind of show you what the path is going to look like. There. Something like that. It'll look way better when it's done, but that's just to show you. So you're going to go up this hill. It's going to be a nice smooth transition to go up this path. Up and around this rock, carries around that rock. You see it's the right height. It doesn't, I mean, your weight, you're 10 units higher, which is only 1 unit higher in Halo 3, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we're 10 units higher, but it doesn't really look that much different than the original, so there we go. Let's save it, and let's pack it in. Is there anything else? Oh, right. How much time do I have? Not enough. I wanted to do this as well. This is a nice one here. This is the pillar. I have it marked as a rock because that's how it intersects with the ground. But this piece here, it's a pillar that melds right into this structure here. And to make it, I'm going to be using one of these monstrosities. Probably, I'm guessing this one, or maybe this one, and have it one end pointing down, and then have another rock that's the right size facing up so that they meet in the middle. And that's kind of what the original looks like. It goes very thin and then widens out. And I'm going to try to match this one so close because that's, you know, it's one of the iconic pieces of the map, and it's a visual reference for driving, and I want to make sure the sight lines are perfect on it. So that's going to be a tricky one. It's probably going to take just as long to build that as it took to place 3 or 4 of the rocks in this one, because I want to see it from every angle and make sure it's perfect. So next time we come in, I'm going to dive straight into this pillar here. Once the rocks and pillars are in place, then it's time for terrain. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek of that because I got 1 minute left. I might as well show you something. I cheated, and I went ahead after I did the man cannons. I wasn't quite ready to go to bed yet, so I cheated and I made some ice. Okay, this is a block 128 by 4, and it's a detailed one, but it doesn't matter because we only use the one surface. And I spent some time auditioning pieces for ice and structures and textures and everything else. And although it looks goofy from this distance, when you're on it, it looks so good. And what I'm doing is this piece is going to be at anything that's 178 or below is going to be exactly this as far as position goes. So anywhere where the ground is deeper than this, I think this is 178, I'm not sure, but this is what this is going to look like when it's in place. Okay, it's going to align with a natural contour. It's got a very nice reflective surface. It has almost the same type of reflections as the original. It looks like ice that's kind of cracking, and it suits the map. It looks good, and when it blends into the terrain really well. And this isn't the right height. What I got to show you? Oh, right, because I'm in the wrong place. That's why. This is where it goes here. That's why. Let me just put it down a bit lower. It's going to be about that high there. Okay, this is where the ice rink is on the other. But what's going to be really cool is this is actually the height of the ground under the bridge. So when you go under the bridge, the ice is going to pass through from right here. The rocks under the bridge, I'm going to put a little bit of an opening here, and then the ice is going to continue onto this side of the map. So there's going to be a bit of continuation. So when you go under the bridge, which is over here, you're going to be on ice when you go under the bridge. Oh yeah, here's another thing. This is the ramp. You can almost visualize it going up to the. All these measurements were taken up to the ramp. There's the turret in the exact right position. These the man cannon and the teleporter room. Anyhow, that's where we're leaving off. I've got to go, and I'm gonna either be back on tonight or tomorrow afternoon, one or the other. I kind of like to get back on tonight because I want Nillipuden to help me with the terrain. So I might just be back on in an hour or two. So anyhow, until then, thanks for watching. I just want to check the chat to see if anyone has said anything since before. Slippery, yes, very slippery. Can you make it slick? I can put bouncy barriers on it. I can't make it slick. You never know. I'll talk to Tom, see what he says. But yeah, see, that's how the ice is going to look here. You can't make it slick, and it wasn't slick in Halo 3, I believe. It was only slick in Halo 1. So no, we can't make it slick, but if we can someday, I will. Anyhow, that's it for today. We'll see you probably tonight. So thanks for watching, and I don't say like that or smack that like button, so don't worry about me having to say that. So anyhow, take it easy. See you tonight.